Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. As you can see, today is a slightly different video. I'm not making a card, nothing paper craft related. I'm going to show you how to make a pendant, a keychain with UV resin. I have used UV resin for a while. I posted a video last year where I coated a shrink plastic earring with it, but I haven't really played around with it until very recently, and I absolutely got hooked. I do like UV resin because it cures so quickly, so you more or less have instant results. But a word of warning, I have to put this in here. When you work with UV resin, it says on the packaging it doesn't have any odor or it's toxic free, but it's not really. So wear gloves to protect your fingers. I've got my craft room door closed so my cat doesn't come in. And when I'm actually doing the curing with my UV light, I will switch off the camera and I will open the window wide because it does release some fumes and I'm sure they're not healthy. So be aware of that when you start this craft. I have been watching a few videos on YouTube, so I'm quite confident of what I'm doing, although the actual one today, using little shells, I haven't done before. And I would like to do a little tea for my friend Tina. It's her 70th birthday today, and again, as I said, it's a good thing to have this or have an instant result because you can do something very quickly. I'm using this UV resin from Amazon. This is my first bottle, but I've also ordered a second one for later projects because I would like to keep that as a little feature on my YouTube channel. I have got another UV resin that came with a set, and I will show you that later. It came with a light, so a very good starter set. But because I'm confident how to use this one, and this one's almost bubble free, I'd like to use this one today. I've got a few things set up here. I've got my toothpicks for stirring or pushing things down. I've got these three little shells. I think I've got an inkling I got them from the works one day, but obviously if you live near a beach, I've got quite good selection of shells, but they're a bit too big for these key rings. I've got a few glitter here off camera. I've just zoomed in, and I've also got some mica powder here and some eyeshadow that I would like to put in. So the first thing you need to do is fill your shape a little bit, your mold, because the last thing you want is, let me zoom in just a little bit more if I can. Yeah, because the last thing you want is your shells to pop right through the first layer, so you need to fill it up a little bit, and I say this is about a quarter full, so I think that's enough there. And as I said before, this one's almost bubble free, so I'm using just my toothpick here and just spread it out to the edges. By the way, I'm just thinking about this, I always tell you not to, I'd always tell you that I don't try to entice you to buy new products, but although this is very addictive and you can get more and more gadgets, the price point of actually starting something like this is not too bad. And I recently decided or realized that I really enjoy this, and I'm happy to pay for the crafts that I really enjoy, and I'm trying not to spend money on things that I'm not sure whether I would enjoy them. So this is covered now at the bottom, so now I can put my shells in. These are upside down molds. Having said that though, the tea is symmetrical, so I could actually fill it as if I was doing it the right way around, but for the sake of this video I'm doing it the wrong way around so you see how to do it. So I'm grabbing the shells, or I'm going off camera because I'm so zoomed in, and starting at the bottom. This one's slightly breaking apart, so I'm trying to get the loose bits off so they won't show too much. So I'm just coming in from the side here because I'm standing on the side. So I'm just placing this down there. 2 might actually be enough, so I'm just using the 2 patterned ones. This one's a bit more solid on the edge, so just see if I can place it the other way, facing the other way. These are tweezers that came with the set as well. So I think at the moment I'm happy with this. This one wants to move a little bit. Make sure when you put any embellishments in that you don't have any bubbles trapped underneath. So move them about just a little bit, just in case there wants to be some bubbles. So I'm going to switch the camera off to put on my light. This is the light. Just zoom out again. This is the light that came with it, and by a press of the button it lights it up for 60 seconds. So I will just do that, just the 60 seconds. As I said, I'll open the window now, but I want to spare you the noise, and then I come back and we continue with step number 2. The starter set came with these holographic bits in all sorts of colours. So to make the sort of C at the top, I would like to put a few of those flakes in. What I need to do for that is I need to put in more resin. And this is quite thick, so I can put this in without it moving too much into the areas where I don't want it. I could theoretically fill it all at the moment. I think I might actually do that. I'm also making sure that I'm filling the insides of those shells, because these are likely to create bubbles later. So don't know how well the camera picks it up. At the moment I've got it about 2/3 full, I'd say. And the reason being is if I haven't got it too full, I can't really maneuver the bits around and the sparkle and everything. So if I have just a bit full, then I can top it up afterwards. I need to mix it. So I'm just using my tweezers, just setting them down. I'm trying not to touch the resin with the tweezers, because then the tweezers will be too sticky and they will have bits stuck to them. I think I'll leave it at that, because there's quite a big bit. So I will use my toothpick. Sorry, my brain's not functioning today. And I will also, off camera here, sorry, put the lid back on, because knowing me, I would spill that. So I'm now pushing the bits down into the resin onto the first layer, because the first layer is hard now. So as close I get them to the front, because I want these to be in the front. Got a few bits here that I can pick up and put in as well. By the way, when you use your molds, always make sure that you've got no residue from your projects before. Because I've already done the S for my name, but I filled it a bit differently. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. That is a bubble. So I'm just poking that. You can use a lighter on the bubbles. I think there's another bubble there. Although for the C, I'm not too bothered whether it's got bubbles in it. That might actually be quite a nice effect. So I'm now coming in with my glitters. Mine got holes on the top, so I can easily dispense them. And I just want to go over that. Be aware that the more elements you have in your resin, so the more solid it gets, the more difficult it will be to cure it. You need a bit more time for that. I made a bit of a messy on the side. I will be stirring that in a moment. I'm just shaking the excess glitter off my hands here above my bin, because I don't want those to end up anywhere where I don't want them. And I think I'll come in a bit with this colour. It's like a sea, like an aqua colour, and again it's gone all over me. I think it's the lids of these. These, I think, I'm not quite sure, I got them off the works, I think. But oh no, I'll tell you where I got them from. I got them from a local store, but because the lids are hollow, that's where the mess comes from. So now I'm mixing the glitter in a little bit, going to the edges as well, but I'm trying not to go as low as the holographic plastic, because I don't want that to come up again. If you wanted to, you could cure the resin after you've put in the holographic pieces, but I did not want to basically cure this bit here, because that will get some elements in it in the moment, which will be the mica powder. So I think I'm happy with that. It's not very solid, but as I said to you, I don't want it to be too solid, because then it'll be too difficult to cure. And I'll spread it out a little bit here. Just thinking about whether I can pick up some more here, but I'll be fine. So for this part here now, I want to add this mica powder. You can add sand to resin, but again, if it gets too solid, the light can't go through, the UV light, and then you will have trouble curing it. So I thought if I just use some mica powder, I can imitate the look of the sea. I'm taking a new toothpick here, because the last thing I want is to have glitter down here. So I'm mixing it here. You can use a little pot and mix your mica powder before you pour it in, but I think this works just enough. So we just switch the camera off for a little cough. Yeah, little footnote, the cough's got nothing to do with resin. I've just got a bit of a cold coming up. So try not to mix too much at the top, but just a little bit for the sea to blend into the sand. Yeah, I think that's enough for me. So I'm only starting, but I think that's fine. So again, I'm switching the camera off, putting on the light. Oh, sorry, opening the window first, putting on the light, and I'm also leaving it for, again, I'm just curing it, I think, for a minute. No, I'll tell you what, we'll cure this for 2 minutes, but I will also take like a 5-minute break with the open window, just to let the fumes out. So I've cured this for 2 minutes, and now I want to put in the top layer, and I think I'm starting with the bottom this time. So I'm putting some more resin in, and I would like to use some of my eyeshadows there. Let's just zoom out a little bit so you see a bit better what I'm doing. So I'm just filling this up. I know it's going to run a bit into the top bar there, but I think it'll be fine. As I said, you can mix that before if you want to. So I'm just using a plastic spoon, and I'm just taking some of this gold stuff, and I like that it's got a sort of a mix of colours, and I think this will be nice as the backing. So just with my toothpick again, I'm just mixing it. I can move it back a little bit where it wanted to run into the bar there. Just making sure now it's going all to the edges. I might have to dome it after I've fully cured it anyway. Doming means you put another coat on that sits a bit higher in the middle, so you don't have any harsh edges. So I think that's fine. So, and now I'm putting another lot in this side here. It's already moving that bit back, so I'm using this blue mica powder because I wanted a bit of a darker colour in the background, so that the lighter colours, the lighter glitter in the front pops a bit more. So as I said before, I'm just a beginner, but I think it just, you know, it's just very easy to learn, very easy to do. So, and I don't know if the camera picks it up. Unfortunately can't tilt it for you to see. I've got, now I can see the swirly bits here because I've been moving it. And I know I've got an air bubble there as well, but it doesn't matter, that's in the layer below. But I don't mind this because it's sea, so I actually quite like the movement. And I'm moving the sand up a little bit and this a little bit down, maybe even do a bit of a swirly motion there. I think that's quite nice. And the good thing again about the UV resin is if I set this instantly now, it'll stay as it is. It won't move too much. If you use normal resin, that might move. So I shall again quickly cure this and then come back. So I cured this for 2 minutes and I just want to show you this. I don't know if the camera picks it up. Yeah, you can see this now. This has sunk in a little bit in the middle, and this is why we're doming it. So I'm just putting another clear layer on the top as much as the mold holds. And again, there are no bubbles when this comes out. I've seen people on YouTube and they've got bubbles in theirs when it comes out of the bottle. This one's a grade UV resin. So I'm just spreading it out to the edge. Try not to go over, because when you go over then you create edges again. So again, I'm curing that for another 2 minutes. Oh, I hope you didn't hear that. That was my stomach rumbling. Yes, I have cured this now for 2 minutes. My window is still open, so I thought I'd just leave it now for this step. And all I'm doing now is, before I demold this, I'm turning my mold over, and this is why you should have clear molds, just to cure it from the other side. Again, I just do it for 2 minutes, so I'm just popping this on now. Now you can see it because my window is open, and I shall come back afterwards. I can now demold my letter. I hope it's all worked. So I'm just popping it out, hoping that the bottom has cured properly. Yeah, that's lovely. So let me just set this aside. And there we go. I've got a keyring. If you're not happy with your surface there, mine actually, I don't know if the camera picks it up. It's got like a bit like a square at the bottom. I wonder whether there was something in the mould. Sometimes if you've got blemishes in the mould, they can show. I can now dome this again, as I've shown you from the back. I can dome this again and just put another coating on the top. It also looks a bit, you see that, it looks like it hasn't been completely flat. It might be because my tray is not quite flat. So I will do that, and I will also, when this is cured, I will use a nail file and take these bits off. Again, a warning, let me just show you these bits there. Again, a warning, if you file UV resin, any sort of resin, ideally you would wear a face mask for the dust. So just for you to note. And there's also a little blemish there, wondering whether the corner hasn't cured or whether there was a bubble. But for a first result, I think this is really nice. So again, with this corner here, I can just add a little bit, just with a brush, and try to fill this up a little bit. It looks like an air bubble there. So I don't know if you can see that. A bit tricky to see, but yeah, I will do this quickly off camera, and then I will cure this again from all sides, just making sure it's really solid, and then I will show you how to attach the keyring. So I have covered even the sides now here with a bit more resin. I'll try to fill in the bubbles, so be careful when you put in your layers that you don't have any bubbles on the edges. I'll try to rescue this one at the bottom. It's a bit of a, I don't know if it shows, it's a little extra of resin there now, but I'm not too fussed. I could sand that down, but I think it looks fine as it is, because after all, it is homemade and it's made with love. So I already had a go at the top because I saw something on YouTube where somebody heated up, it was more like a thicker tube, but I just heated up a needle with a lighter and tried to poke it through. This doesn't work. But I do have this tiny little drill. I've had this for ages now. As I said, I have been making jewellery before, but I think I got this for woodworking. So this allows me now to drill a tiny hole at the top for the little hook. So all I need to do is go in like this. I try to have it central this way and central this way. And I only want to go in a little bit. Don't want to have it too big, although we're filling it up with a bit of resin anyway. So, and I'll tell you what, I'm not used to filming on a small scale like that. So just take my needle, make sure I don't have too much in it. I only want to have like a pilot hole because I want this to screw this in a bit more, and I think see if any more comes out. So these hooks I have, these little screw hooks, they are tiny. I can't remember whether they actually came in the set or whether these are from my stash. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to put a spot more of resin on this little hook at the front. I will actually pop it here on the side. I think I will dispose of this tray afterwards because it's broken anyway, and I think it's not flat enough to work on. So I'll just put this on there. You can use an acrylic glue like an E6000, but I think this will be just as fine. So I'm placing it in there, and I'm also trying not to lose it, also screwing this in. This is why I didn't want the hole to be too deep. I do it from the side because these are so tiny, they're very tricky to get hold of and keep in place. I did it the other day, so I know it works. Struggling there. Now I have to make a bigger hole. I suppose also depends on what you have in your resin paste. So keep that in mind as well, not to put any shells at the top or anything that you can't drill through afterwards. Just started raining. So I've got a bit of resin left here, so just dab it in that. See if it goes in now. Oh yeah, it goes in all the way now. So I shall put a bit more resin on here. You decide which way you want this to face, whether you want it facing that way or whether you want to turn it. I'll see if I can turn it a little bit to screw in. But I think now the hole will be too big. Never mind, this is why I've got the UV resin on it. So I can now actually cure this again, and hopefully that will hold. So I should again quickly do this off camera, and then I'll show you how to attach the other pieces. So it is a few hours later now. I got interrupted and then didn't have time to finish this. So I quickly want to show you how to attach the individual bits. I'm going to link to these below. I only bought these this week. So these are little clasps, and they come with these rings that I've already attached to this. It's a very easy ring to attach. And I also bought a selection of tassels, knowing that I would make some key rings. And these come with these rings here. So because I used to do jewellery, I've got pliers already. So the important thing is these are already open, that you don't move them outwards, just move them sideways. I'll show you in a moment how to do that. So I'm attaching the tassel. I'm just putting this in And I think I'll also put this one in unless it gets too much in the way. No, that's fine. Just contemplating whether I want it on there. No, I'll put this on this bit so the ring is free then for the keys to go onto this. So you need to take your second lot of pliers, and just move this sideways back. I hope I'm not going off camera, and I hope you can see what I'm doing with all the bits I've got here. So just bend this backwards and close the ring. So now I've got the tassel here, I've got this ring to attach the keys, and this can go either on a bag or somewhere else. Just one thing I noticed when I was trying to correct bits here on the side where I had too many bubbles, that my front was getting a bit matte. So I will just put one more layer of the UV resin on it, and I will just brush it on this time. So I'm laying it flat, and as I said, I'm just using a brush. Let me just find a clean brush. So I will just put a little bit on here and just spread it out with a brush. You can also use one of these silicone things, I think, but I think the brush would be nicer. I've seen somebody on YouTube do that. The only important thing is that you leave it to sit for 1 or 2 minutes before you cure it, just to get rid of the brush strokes. They will sort themselves out. So, and as you can see, I haven't got my gloves on, so I'm a bit cautious of what I'm touching. I should have put them on ideally. So I'm just looking from the side here against the light, making sure I've spread this evenly. And I've got quite a few brush strokes there, but they should disappear in a moment. So again, as before, I will do this off camera, the curing, open my windows wide, and then hopefully this will get rid of the matte finish. I just will show you the quick finished keyring in a sec. Well, the first coat didn't work at all with the brush. It was very uneven, so I put another one on there, so I properly domed it now. Don't know if you can see it from the side, and now I'm pleased with it. Now it's got a really lovely shine. I've got a little gift bag here to give it in, and I think this makes a really nice present now. I also wanted to quickly show you my first one that I made. I just found that I still need to put the keychain on, and again I just put the glitter bits in there, and then I put some white mica powder in the back and some glitter, and I think that's quite nice as well. I'm aware they do get scratched anyway, so if there are some imperfections, it doesn't really matter, but I think they make a really lovely present. I've got one request for you. If you are an experienced resin crafter, please don't flood my comments with any ideas of how I can improve this, because I'm aware I'm only a beginner. I will find this out myself by doing these things. But this is just a little idea for you if you haven't done any UV resin crafting. This might give you an idea what you can do at a very low expense with just a starter kit. So I'm linking to the bits below that I do have and do own. And yeah, if you like this video, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, there will be more UV resin videos coming up. I might also throw in other crafts, but mostly my channel is about paper crafting. So if you'd like to see more of that, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.